Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your man White Wolf. In today's training, we're going to be discussing the first meditation. Now, there are many different types of meditations. The definition of meditation I like to use is the process of harmonizing our energy in order to enter different states of being. The extensions of ourselves on this physical plane is our body, our mind, our emotions, and our life force or life energies. The thing about it is there's many different ways of harmonizing ourselves once we start talking about the internal work, internal alchemy. This meditation that we're talking about today is going to help us to develop a depth. That's why I call it the first meditation. By developing a depth, it will enhance every other meditation that you do. So, let's get started. And so, some important information before we get started. We really want to be able to find that place when we're doing these stretches where it might be a little discomfortable, but it's not extremely painful. We want to be able to inhale. It's all about being able to breathe through it and to find that place where it's pretty nice. All right. At first, it might be painful, but don't go to the place where it's too painful. Don't go to your maximum range of motion. Just go to that place right before it where you can still breathe through the exercises. And so the first stretch that we're going to be doing, we want our knees to be on the ground, the tops of our feet to be on the ground. Our glutes are going to be sitting back on our heels, and we want our spine to be nice and tall. Now, this stretch is going to help open up our knees. We need some knee flexibility. And so, this first position is all about getting that knee flexibility. When we're doing it, just take nice deep breaths. Focus on where the breath is going throughout the body. Our second position, we want to extend the legs, toes pointing up to the ground. We want to take our hands moving behind the glutes, and we want to lengthen the spine. In this position, we really want to feel the stretch in the hamstrings and the lower back. Also, when we're doing this one, you can make little circles with your feet to help kind of find a little bit more range of motion. Our next position we want to do is the butterfly. We're going to have the bottoms of our feet pointed up to the sky. We want to bring the knees close to the ground. I like to have my thumbs first kind of higher up on my toes, and then I bring it closer to my heels. That way I can put my elbows onto my knees to help kind of push them down. Once we're pretty comfortable with that, we can move the hands behind the glutes and help lengthen the spine. In this position, it doesn't matter too much that our spine is aligned or curved. Start off with curved until you're able to get more range of motion. And then inch by inch, we want to bring the heels closer to our center. Our next position, we want to have our first leg is going to be directly across our mat. We want it to be making almost a 90-degree angle. We want it to make a straight line with our body. We want it to be parallel with our body. We'll take our second leg. We want the knot of the heel to go right past the knee. Now, it's okay if our legs start off with the knee kind of high up. This position is pretty sensitive, but we want to be able to have the knee slowly collapse and make them stack on top of each other. Then we want to be able to allow the spine, our upper body, to lean forward and to push forward. For this position, we're going to feel the stretch in the back of our hips. This one's a real big hip opener. Ooh, we need that flexibility in our hips. So once again, the knot of the heel goes right past the knee. The two legs collapse on top of each other, parallel to each other, and we just lean forward, opening up the hips. Go ahead, take this nice and slowly, and nice deep breaths. Only go as far as you can. Don't hurt yourself. Now, when we start the second round, because I suggest doing this 2-3 times, we'll add a couple different exercises for the second and third round. For the second round, we'll start off knees sitting back on the heels, and then we'll move into downward dog. We'll put our hands pressing firmly into the floor. We want to use our back muscles, straighten up the back, and then slowly with the heels, we're just going to pedal back and forth. We want to start activating our back muscles and slowly start stretching out those hamstring muscles a little bit more. Then we're going to move into our second position. Once again, stretching out the hamstrings and lower back. Here, we're going to move into opening up our spine. We want our legs to come right above our head, over the body, lengthening the spine. Now, when we do this, do not go all the way onto your neck. You want yourself, your body weight, to be on your upper back muscles. And then just allow your legs to slowly and gently fall forward, lengthening the spine, lengthening the vertebrae. Now, when we come out of this position, take it nice and easy. Try to start from the top down. Then we're going to move into our third position, which was the butterfly. Same thing still applies. Make sure the tops of the feet are pointed to the sky. And nice deep breaths. From there, we're going to spread the legs. Now point the toes, put a little flexion in them toes, and allow yourself to nice and easily start leaning forward. Now this exercise, take it nice and slow. Do not go to your maximum range of motion. Go to that place where it's a little bit painful, but you're still able to breathe through it. And we just want inhale, exhale, nice and easily, allowing the body to slowly come forward. The upper part of our body to slowly come forward. Once again, we're doing this for 3 to 5 good deep breaths. Just enjoy the tension, enjoy the release. Then we're going to take our foot, we'll bend one foot, bring the heel directly to the glute. I personally like to bring my opposing arm across. That way I'm twisting my spine slightly. This exercise, we want to really focus on closing the knee. It's really about getting that knee to close nice and easily without pain. Then we'll switch to the second leg. Same thing. Bend the leg, bring the heel directly to the glute. And we are just focusing on closing that knee joint. I like to bring my arm across just to help get that spine nice and warmed up. We're breathing 3 to 5 breaths, nice and easy. Take your time, because that one's really going to help you for this next exercise. If we're feeling pain in our knee in this position, in this exercise, you are going to have to slow down and go back. For this exercise, we take our foot, we make it nice and straight, we bring our heel directly into the perineum. The perineum is that space between your anal outlet and your genitals. As we close the knee joint, it's usually easier to close the knee joint first and then bring the heel into the perineum. And then as you lay the knee flat, we bring our body forward and we're just stretching. This is going to stretch out the hips, the knees. The same thing with the second leg. Bring the heel to the perineum. It's easier if you start with the knee joint already closed, and then we go and lengthen, allow the upper back to just collapse forward, and we're stretching out the backs of the hips and the lower back. From there, we move on to that position where we bring the legs parallel in front of you. The knot of the heel goes right past the knee, and we collapse forward, opening up the backs of the hips. From there, we're going to bend our knees, bend our legs, lay down on our back. We'll bring the knot of the heel just past the knee. Once again, we shoot our arm through the leg and we pull the knee towards us, towards the chest. And you're going to feel this one in the backs of the hips. This is another really big hip opener. We want our hips to be nice and loosey-goosey. Real loosey-goosey. You know what I'm saying? Once again, the knot of the heel right past the knee. We shoot our arms through the leg. We grab our bent knee or bent leg and we pull it towards the chest. Take nice, deep, easy breaths. Don't hurt yourself. We want to be nice and gentle. Then we release and we'll go ahead and get ready to do our breathing techniques. Now you can do this for 2 to 3 rounds. I suggest a minimum of 2 rounds. Alright, so now we're going to start working on developing our breath. So go ahead, get you a nice comfortable pillow. I like these little tiny square pillows because they're super cheap and you can find them everywhere. Now, whenever we're doing any breathing session or even our meditations, there's a couple things we want to make sure we take care of. The first thing is we want to make sure our hips are sitting higher than our knees. That is very important. It's going to help make it a lot easier to do our meditations or to even hold that skeletal structure. It's going to help develop those very tiny little muscles along our spine. So, as we find that nice comfortable position, being able to keep our backs nice and straight, we'll take our chin. We do a slight tuck, and we'll just want to feel the spine lengthen all the way to the top of the crown. As we get that lengthening, we'll take our shoulders, reel them back, let them drop, let them relax. Check one more time for the hips, making sure that they're higher than the knees. And we want to be able to just relax down, allowing all of our muscles to kind of chill out. Now, it's important to develop this position when we're both meditating and just kind of getting ready for the meditation to see if there's any types of pains, aches. We might have to do some other prerequisites to kind of help open us up. So when we're doing our actual breath training, we have 3 main centers that we can focus our breath. We got our clavicle, we got our chest, and we got right below our belly button. So we're going to put our hands right below our belly button. And when we do this, because we want to start to develop something very awesome and very special. We have certain types of points on our hands that create a magnetic field that are going to help us guide the breath in a certain type of way to develop something that we'll talk about in another video. But here, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing, we'll make sure when we inhale, we extend the stomach. When we exhale, we collapse the stomach. Now, for this first practice, we're going to start opening up our airways a little bit. We'll inhale, feeling our stomach expand. As we reach that max expansion, we will continue to inhale nice and gently. It's going to be difficult at first, but we're going to feel that you can just barely start squeezing in a little bit more air at a time. So I like to kind of keep track mentally of where I'm currently at. When you first do it, start off with just like 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 15 seconds. You want inhale, stomach expands, you feel that max contraction, and then you continue to inhale just a little bit at a time. Now when we exhale, go ahead and just let the breath fly at first. Just let it release. And as we get a little bit more into it, say the second to third round, because we will do this 3 times. The second round, go ahead and start building a little bit of control. Start feeling how you release it a little bit easier. When we start off, we can exhale with our mouth. When we're doing it in our belly, we'll make a kind of WH sound, like a. We'll do that 2 to 3 times. As we move up, we go put our hands to our chest. Now we're focusing on bringing the air to our chest cavity. Same thing that applies, except this time when we inhale in the chest, we want to feel the air pressure start to build up, and we'll use our hands to start opening up our chest, feeling the air kind of fill up all the pockets within the chest. Now, same thing applies. As we get to that maximum expansion, you will go ahead and continue to inhale nice and gently. Do not do this too hard. Do not try to rush this. It is a process and it takes time to develop. You can injure yourself if you do it too quick or too hard, just trying to inhale too forcefully. So keep it nice and relaxed, getting that maximum expansion and continuing to breathe nice and easy. Same thing applies. We go inhale. Use the arms to help guide the breath to all the little spaces within your chest cavity. And it's a cool feeling. It starts to kind of develop that breath-mind connection. And you feel the pressure in all these different little spots within inside your chest. And so we really want to start getting used to having that connection, because when we start guiding the breath in different parts of our body, like when we're doing our stretching, it helps us out a lot in different ways that we'll talk about in another video. And so now finally we're working on the clavicle. So the clavicle is probably the hardest out of these 3 positions. So with the clavicle, we have our arms, our neck is neutral. As we inhale, we want to feel the upper part of the chest start to fill up with air. We lift up our neck, and then we're feeling the air. Arms are meant to help guide those little pockets around the clavicle. Feel the air start to travel amongst those little positions, and there's gonna be pressure there. So you're gonna be able to start telling the more you do this, where the air is inside of yourself. When we release this, like I said, just let it fly at the beginning. First round, second round, start to control it a little bit more. Third round, start to control it a little bit more. And all these, when we release, we will have a nice relaxed response. We don't want to force it too much unless you need to catch your breath, which is perfectly okay, especially in the beginning when we're starting to do this. You're starting to kind of find that how much energy am I using? How much of my breath is required when I hold it this long or use this much energy? And so it's a lot of different types of things going through your mind, or even just feeling how it's working through your body. And so for each one of these, we want to do a minimum of 3 breaths, 3 real good deep inhales. Now, I like to do a recycle breath within each one of these repetitions to help catch my breath again. It will help relax it. When we do these, we want to have that real nice relaxed response. All right, so that first exercise is meant to help us open up, or just to open up the cavities. Now we want to start to develop not only the opening, but the push, the hold. And so this exercise, start out with 5 seconds. We'll start with the stomach. We inhale, pushing the stomach out for 5 seconds, filling the lower belly. Then we're going to squeeze the muscles in the stomach. We're going to hold for 5 seconds. Then on the exhale, we will control the breath. This is where we can start doing more of the focusing of how that the pathway that the air is taking. So we want to use that WH sound, like, and just nice and gently release the breath for 5 seconds. And so we can leave it there for right now, but if you want to start kind of getting to the next level too, on that exhale, then we'll get used to keeping the breath out of the body for 5 seconds. That one takes a little bit more practice, so I would really suggest starting with the inhale, the squeeze, and the exhale. And then of course, once you get a little bit more comfortable with that, add in an extra 5 seconds at the bomb position. So then we'll keep increasing in time. We'll go up to 6 seconds, to 7 seconds, and it's really starting to get comfortable with inhaling, feeling the belly, squeezing, feeling the pressure coming, feeling the pressure of the air get pressurized by your muscles. And then on the exhale, we're starting to feel the release and controlling the breath. And so at first, it's not easy. It definitely takes some practice. And it's going to take a little bit to really kind of get a good feel for this. I learned this through my master, or I should say, Master Shifu Shi Heng Yi, through the Shaolin Arts. And so I know there's different areas to learn breath training, but this is kind of where I picked it up from for my own development. And so after we develop the breath, we want to start kind of getting ready for that real meditation. So now let's go ahead and talk about some of the sitting positions as well as get into the actual meditation. When we start doing our sitting positions, the first position that I like is very similar to that last stretch, where our leg was nice and parallel with the mat. We take our second leg, instead of having it go past the knee, we want to put it into that meat of our hamstrings and our calf muscle. Now, once we start getting good at that, we can use these other sitting positions. I'm just going to demonstrate them here. But the most important thing about these positions, we don't want to feel any pain in the knees. If we feel any pain in the knees, we're not ready for these positions, okay? And so for this position, the key thing is really getting that heel in the perineum and lining up both of the heels to be parallel. The third position, we just move the bottom of our foot to the top of our calf, and we start having ourselves to be locked in. The things with all these positions, they all have different benefits in a sense. And it's starting to get to seeing why these positions help in different types of ways. The first position is probably the most important position, actually is the most important position when we first start out sitting meditation. When we're doing our mudras and we're making that circle with our thumb and our pointer finger, the remaining 3 fingers are extended straight. When we do mudras, mudra literally means hand seal. And so there's a level of energy that is activated with different hand positions. When we move to the second position, our hands on top of each other, thumbs together, or even apart. This helps a lot more with relaxation, with calm. The third position, we're going to have our thumbs interlocked together. We make like a C shape with our hands, and we just go ahead and rest that on our legs. This one helps a lot more with focus as well, but in a whole different type of way. And it's just fun starting to kind of explore how do these hand positions affect the body different? How does it affect the meditation different? Because I can show you these things and people can show you a whole bunch of cool, wild mudras, but if you can't feel the difference because we're not sensitive enough, then just start out with hands on the leg. Just hands nice and flat on the leg, on the knees. Start out with simpler mudras because it's kind of difficult really starting to feel how to relax and keep just enough energy in the hands to hold the position and to fall away from the body. And I mean, your attention falls away from the body. Those sitting positions that we're covering, start out with that first position with the leg across the mat, the other leg directly on top of it, and the meat of the calf and the hamstring. As we develop and we get better into the stretching positions, we're going to be able to use these other sitting positions and you'll feel the benefits. But when we're still at the level of meditating for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, that first position is going to be more beneficial, just getting you used to it. Now, when we start to get ready to go into longer positions, oh yeah, that second position with the heels and the perineum and aligned, that is going to be the money position. And of course, we'll talk about more positions as we keep going into other videos. Key things when we're doing our meditation is we want our tongue to be on the roof of our mouth and our teeth to be nice and gently pressed together. We don't want to put any energy into our teeth. But our tongue, keep it to the roof of your mouth. When we first start our meditation, especially this meditation, because it comes in stages, when we're just beginning, the breath that we use, we'll kind of use that concentrated inhale that we use for our breathing training. But that exhale, we just let it fly. So, and so for the inhale, we're searching for tension, any type of tension anywhere in the body. You'll be surprised. You have a bunch of tension that you don't even know about. It's all over you. And it's finding it and using the exhale to release it. And so doing this is going to help us get to that place of stillness. And also by doing this, we're starting to develop that focus. You know, the inner world starts becoming louder. And that's kind of the best way I can describe it, because when we start talking about some of these inner stuff, the inner things that start happening, there's not a lot of words to describe everything. But our focus and our awareness of the tension releasing what's going on inside of us starts becoming so much louder. Boredom, that is a form of energy. If we're bored, then we're not really focused on what we're doing. It's really about getting our practices to be so loud, for us to be so engulfed into it that time is falling away, that you'll be surprised. It might seem like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then you realize it's been 30 minutes, 40 minutes. You're like, oh, wow. And so that's kind of where we're trying to get to. When we're doing our meditations at first, it's very important just to be consistent. Whether it's 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I really suggest starting out with 5 minutes. But if all you got is 1 minute, hey, that's cool, bro. Do it every single day. That is the most important part, is consistency every single day. It's like when we work out and you skip a day. You feel like you might be weaker. With meditation, if you skip a day, it is sad how much it feels like you got weaker in that area. But by doing the consistency, the practice of it every day, it'll build over time, especially if you're only doing it for 5 minutes. As you start feeling the benefits, because it's hard to describe how nice and relaxing and just all the different benefits that start to manifest from meditating and developing a deeper connection with it. That's why, we see the monks, they start getting into the 2 hours, 30 minutes every single, 3 times a day. And there's a reason for that. But for us, especially, we're just starting out, 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Start with that first sitting position. You don't even need to do a mudra. Just keep your hands nice and flat on your knees. When we start doing the mudra, it's really starting to learn how to keep a certain level of energy in our hands while we relax the rest of our being. And it gets feeling pretty cool. Like, once again, it's hard to explain, but we'll talk about it in another episode or another training session. So, yeah, I think as far as introduction and just kind of starting out meditation, those are kind of the key things. Do some stretching, that way we can start developing different body positions. Do the breath training so we can develop the breath. It starts to feel so much better and easier as we start opening up our breath cavities, our breathing cavities. We start feeling the airways. And in fact, that's going to help you so much more when we start getting to the higher levels of meditation, because at first it's really about releasing tension. That's all we're doing in the very beginning, is just inhaling, finding the tension, exhaling, releasing the tension. Then we hit stillness. Once we hit stillness, the game changes, and then it starts becoming more about how optimal can we make our internal processes. And so I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there. Remember, keep your tongue to the top of the roof of your mouth, teeth nice and gently pressed together. And we only want to breathe in through our belly. We don't want to transition it all the way up. We want to keep it nice and low, only focused in the belly. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave it in the comment section, or go ahead, just leave it in the comment section, and I'll try to address it in the comment section, or I'll make another video on it. Go ahead and check out the White Wolf 719 at our Stand store. There you can get yourself a free leveling guide. Now, this leveling guide, the So Legit Boy, is going to help you work through your energy, your emotional energy, your mental energy, the physical energy. It's going to help just get us organized in a type of way. It has a lot of good foundational information in there that we need to know. For example, natural laws, the principles, certain principles that govern the universe, whether we know about them or not, whether we use them or not, they're always in effect. Okay, so let's go ahead and start leveling ourselves up. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it there, fam. All my brothers and sisters having this human experience, let's go ahead, get to training. Let's all get stronger. Love and light leads the way. Everybody have a beautiful and blessed day.